Welcome, everyone. And this is Water is the New Gold, helping you thrive in the world's only vital, scarce, and recession-proof market. Thursday, July 23rd, 2020. I've got the usual disclaimers. They may be a bit fuzzy because we are optimized for video thumbnails right now, but you know the drill. Basically that, we are not gods. We try hard to predict the future, but it's always, of course, the future is always exciting, especially in 2020, right? It's a pretty amazing time. And then the other thing is, if we start talking about investment in the company, then of course, the Securities Exchange Commission has not passed on the validity of these securities. And I wanted to mention something very, very cool. And that is that on Monday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be on a podcast with Kevin Harrington, the Shark Man himself, and Seth Green. Seth Green interviewed me, and this is going to be a lot of fun. So if you were to click over to the YouTube, you would see starts in 3 days. So I can't wait for that. And with that, I'm going to play a quick video and move on from there. Well, what the heck is water philanthroinvesting? Interesting. So I wanted to bring in my two good friends, Ivan Ans and Artie Marin, who are going to pop on their videos and show us here live from the Philanthro Investors boardroom and reception. Ivan, you've been on this show before as a listener. Tell us what happened. How'd that happen?
So thank you, Rick, for having me here. Thank you, everyone, for being watching. And it was literally a miracle, I can say, Rick, because I have something that I call an inner philanthro investor, which it has been awakened in me since I am 7 years old. And I was wondering, I am helping families live in their own happy homes with my Inc. 500 company in the last 6 years. And then in 2019, Rick, I said, I think the Philanthro Investor brand is ready to expand to new horizons and to go in all industries and verticals in the world. So I was looking to start helping clean the water of the planet and to bring the planetary water, to return the planetary water to its original form. And then, last year I found the company to actually license the Philanthro Investor brand and know-how. And it was kind of not indicating, it was not exactly what I wanted. And
you mean a water company, literally?
Yes, a water company.
Oh my God, not us, clearly.
No, not you, clearly. And so I came through this I found you on LinkedIn or Facebook ad or something like that. I say, right. Oh my gosh, this is exactly what I've been wanting. This is exactly what I've been looking for in order to actually license the Philanthro Investor brand and know-how to actually help the world, in the water side.
And then you mentioned me to Artie.
Yes, and I went to Artie, who is the chairman and CEO for my company, and I say, Artie, look, look what I found. And then he looks at it and he says, Ivan, you must be joking. No, no. No, I'm not joking, sir.
How long have you known me, Artie?
Oh, man. Let me start with the fact that I knew your mother in 1963.
Oh, God, please.
But yes, what Ivan may or may not know is that we were actually, for a short time, related. Your brother was married to my stepdaughter, but I knew you before then. I don't know, probably 1970, 71.
Yeah, I'm
so
guessing
what's
something
that?
like that. So
50
yeah,
years.
we were very young. We were very young.
Yes, that is true.
So what I wanted to do, you guys are talking about philanthropic investors. You're talking about some licensing. So I want to back up for our audience and just show like who the heck we're talking about here. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen again, this time without video, because I want to show you guys a little bit about what is philanthropic investors. Well, the first thing that Ivan did, and he can tell you himself about, is starting out with auto dealerships and moving on from there, is he built this amazing concept of helping people by acquiring foreclosed properties, buying homes in bulk. The investor purchases properties, the equity and help becomes the trustee. They then get given to families that would not otherwise be able to own homes. And that's the key part. And the investor helps the families own their own homes for less than rent, and everybody wins. The investor recovers his net worth, and the family ends up over time owning their own home. And that is an amazing concept. And in fact, it has landed you, hasn't it, directly on, I see you here, number 128 on the Inc. 5000. So you're in the Inc. 500 actually. And then in the 250 most successful companies in Florida, right here, 250 most successful companies in Florida, you're actually number 3, having grown 3,000% over the 2-year period from 2016 to 2018. And it's not over. Even though these are very tough times in the real estate industry, your numbers are amazing. You're achieving a superb cap rate. That means that's when you divide the annual earnings by the investment. So basically making a very good return. I see that you've got 76% current and only 6.2% over 90 days. And I'm sure even those will be paying. You're continuing to collect money. You have 228 counties in which you have investments, 30 US states, 278 cities. And that's only in the US. And of course, you've got things going on in Europe and South America, right?
Exactly, yeah. So that's Rick's Equity and Help. It is my first real estate, my first philanthropy investing baby, I will say. You know, we are a real estate wholesaler and property management firm. So as you said, we have investors in 13 countries of the world, and they actually acquire properties from us. They select the properties themselves. So they are very, you know, hands-on. And then we become the property manager from there. And, you know, they are in control. They are the CEO of their real estate portfolio with us. And Equity and Help, with the representation of the real estate philanthropy investors, it has made it, as you said, in the Inc. 500. And we are actually, very soon, I have a surprise I cannot say yet, but very soon we will have the news on the second year on the Inc. 500, which I don't have the results yet, so I cannot share exactly, but it's going really well. And so I say, okay, well, now I want to actually, and if you go to the philanthropinvestors.com website, you will be able to see, like, I am actually taking the concept of actually awaken the philanthropy investor within, because I believe that inside all of us, there is actually a person of goodwill. There is actually a person that actually wants to make his most profound wishes for this planet a reality. And that's philanthropinvestors.com coming in. And you will be able to see, Rick, that not only we are helping families with the real estate philanthropy investor concept, with the vision of across the globe, living their own happy home, but now we are going to bring water to its original form, as it was before human race came to Earth. It's really going for an idealist scene in the world, which I really highly believe is possible if we align the vectors towards that direction in the humanity, you know?
We're going to visit that website shortly, and Artie will be able to comment on it too. But I wanted to also, and this, I'm going to show a slide which is very, very interesting, which shows how robust the equity and help investing model is and why we're so interested. If you look at the life of the investment here, the investor continues to make money even though there are evictions. Right now in the real estate industry worldwide, and the US rather especially, but conventional real estate, if an eviction occurs, then there's all kinds, basically it falls back to a very discounted value of the asset. And we're seeing that happen all over the US. So 2020 has been very tough for the real estate industry, but your model, Ivan and Artie, is really robust enough to be able to roll over the assets and still make the money. And you've got this, if families make all payments, the house is owned, the families, and you've completed your investment, the investor's out, and this is on, of course, a 20-year life cycle, but there's money being made all along. And so the assets are performing very soon, as you can see. So this really attracted me to the model. And this is why we've actually gone into an alliance, because we believe that Investor Water can work very, very similarly. So let's, Artie, let's take a look at this website, philanthroinvestors.com, invest with a purpose. So Artie, what is philanthroinvesting?
Well, it's very steeped in the subject of help. And before you go anywhere with the website, I want to mention something that I've learned from working with Ivan over these years. And that is, when you talk about motivated investors, motivated homeowners, motivation itself, within the word motivation is the word motive.
Right.
As in, why are you doing what you're doing? What is the purpose? There aren't too many, call them games, that I have seen where truly everybody wins. I can't tell you the number of times Ivan has been approached with offers of great wealth to change it. You could do it different. You could make a lot more money this way. Why don't you get homes that are you could apply this model to a $400,000 home and triple the revenue. And so, no, one of the reasons why we have the stability and one of the reasons it works is we're simply continuously modeling what works. We're fiendish on the subject of tracking what is working, reinforcing what's working. And Riggs, you and I have talked about this before, and I think it's important for all the people watching this, that in human nature, when things aren't going well, everybody's really interested. Say, we got to fix this, what's happening, what's going on? And then when the numbers go up, when things get better, what occurs? Okay, all right, now we're on track. No investigation, no tenacity to discover why. In other words, there was a reason why it's going down, but there's no real reason it was going up. That was just karma, see? What I call management by karma. So it's a very important point, I think, that we understand the motive. And when you marry the motive or the right motive with the mechanics, now you've got something. And that brings us to Origin Clear, because what attracted us to the company was, it is a high purpose. Water is gold in that sense. Right. It's a vital commodity, and you've modeled it beautifully. So I think there's a great future for it.
Thank you. And what we've learned from you guys is that we have to focus, and I was having this conversation this afternoon with Ken, we don't need to do deals with people who've already got great credit and can do all the deals all day long. In fact, we were just doing a deal where we're trying to apply the Investor Water model, and these people were perfectly capable of just buying the darn thing. And so we sold the darn thing to them because, of course, we have a water company in Texas. But Investor Water really is about solving the water problems people have that they don't have the ability to handle. And you guys are putting tens of thousands of families into homes that they otherwise would never be into. And the other super important thing is you're getting investors away from speculative investments. You and I, we all know that the stock market is kind of crazy right now. It's kind of wacky. You always know that there's bad times when you're the cab driver gives you stock tips, right? That was the 1929 story. Well, we have that going on right now where your hairdresser is giving you stock tips. If she's allowed to cut your hair, she's giving you stock tips. But what is better? Again, a couple of Thursdays ago, I did a whole presentation with Roger James Hamilton telling us, get into cash generating assets. And that's for the investor. Philanthropic investing is fantastic because it's stable. And then water is beyond stable. We wouldn't have a crash of water because water demand is not going to change, unlike oil, unlike real estate.
You hit on a very good point there when you talk about what is important and speculation. Ivan didn't wake up one morning, and I don't want to speak for him, he'll tell you, I'm sure, but he didn't wake up one morning and think, I'm anti-speculation now. There are few feelings for anybody who's out there when you lose a lot of money. There's a kind of a, I don't know, whether it's a terror or a gnawing feeling that doesn't go away because you don't have it anymore. But I think it would be good to let them know what spawned this entire, let's move away from speculation and use our money to help people.
Yes, Artie, and you're totally right on that. What happened is that, being an entrepreneur and a successful entrepreneur and actually getting my companies to the point that do not depend on me on the day-to-day operation, I say, now I need to become good and invest in my money that I made. And so being an entrepreneur has something which is very unique, that is a high level purpose living life, Mm-hmm. So being on that line and then all of a sudden being behind the computer, actually getting into the line of just trading and being behind a screen, it was actually something that it was not good for me. Because what happened, Artie and Richter, is that I started losing purpose, which is very important for a person. And then when I was in one point, I started seeing losing this money and going up and down. And I say, what is happening? I started going to being depressed and fighting with my wife and my parents. And I say, what's going on? And my wife asked me a very unique question. And she says, Ivan, what happened with your purpose? What happened with your dreams? And that question itself was exactly what awakened my philanthropy investor within. Because in that point, I say, it's true. Investors and entrepreneurs cannot believe in this anymore, cannot be thinking that they are investing when they're really getting another job behind the computer for them.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Yeah, it's nothing like losing money on speculative investments to make you think about maybe I should do something less speculative. Right?
Well, not only that, in Ivan's book on philanthropy investing, he also talks about, are you really free in that you go on vacation and you're stuck with your stocks or bonds or whatever you're doing. And if things get rough, you're stuck with it. Or if it's just 100 reasons, and we've avoided it all.
Yeah, and the good point, Riggs, on this is that when you look about to the financial freedom, what is really financial freedom? What is that true financial freedom? So how I define it in philanthropy investing, with I think that with Origin Clear and everything that we're going to create, it will actually allow to, is in order to have that freedom, you need to have knowledge first.
Yes.
You need to have purpose. You need to feel in control. And you need to decide to be in control. You need to have gratification or fulfilling, but not get cash, but get fulfilling cash. And you need to be able to leave a legacy, knowing that you're leaving a legacy. You see?
Thank you. So what is your hope from the alliance with Origin Clear?
My hope with the alliance with Origin Clear is that we will actually give you our know-how and the power of the vision of the water philanthropy investor to actually get really with our connections and everything that we have learned so far, put all the direction of the company, helping you, Riggs, and all the team to go even faster and expand to the direction of worldwide vision and expand the horizons and arrive to the point where we really feel that we are in the direction of bringing the water to its original form in the planet and, expand the horizons, basically.
I want to say something about that too, Ray.
Go ahead, Artie.
I don't want people watching to get the idea that it's all ethereal. I mean, we're talking about some big concepts, purpose, big game. There's mechanics that go into it. What has made Equity and Help, an Inc. 500 company, and likely again for the second year, and our other projects have been, again, this combination of high purpose and sound mechanics. Mm-hmm. And when you combine them, you get a lot of power. And again, that's what I think is happening with Origin Water.
Thank you. Well, in fact, Ken, I'm going to paste something that Ken typed just now, which is really interesting. I'm going to put that in the chat for everyone. Ken says, what he's saying basically is our model and Equity Help's model are identical in the sense that the Equity and Help homeowners would be people that wouldn't even think about trying to buy a home right now because they're just not capable. It's easy to sell homes to people that can buy them. It's wonderful to help be able to provide home to people that will work to stay in them. So think about this. In 10 years, they get to own it while the investor does it incredibly well. Our model for Investor Water is the same. We're going to be able to tap into the 99% of locations that desperately need water, but couldn't even consider buying them right now. Now they don't have to buy it to utilize it and benefit from it, while the water investor also does extremely well. Of course, we'll still sell to the guys who want to buy. That's the 1%. But we can now focus on the 99%, truly have life-altering impact on our world water and on our business, utilizing each unique world's first marketplace. So what really intrigues me, because many people in our audience have been faithfully listening to every webinar, and they've watched us develop this concept. Ken has been deeply involved, which is why I pasted his comment. We're more and more veering towards the model of philanthropic investors because we want to do this as something that does good. Yeah, we want to create a new class of investment, which is water investment, for sure. Just what the video said at the beginning. But also we'd like to focus it on the people that can't get financing. Because what does that do? It allows for high returns, right? So you're helping people who could never have it otherwise. B, the investor makes good money. So it's a combination that's very strong. That's what I see you've done with Equity and Help, right?
Exactly.
I love it. What I'm going to do now, because we're doing a great job of staying within our time. Ken says it's a philosophy of doing well by doing good, by accommodating the often overlooked. Quickly, I wanted to give an update as to where we stand with all these efforts, right? So it's been hot and heavy down in Troy, Alabama with our project down there. And we have just an amazing investor who's willing to do all kinds of things to accommodate the model. What we're learning down in the Troy, Alabama project is that the owners there are actually very well off. They have very good credit, and now they're starting to go, well, why don't I just buy it? And this is defining. This is why we have a lab. We're learning how these things work out right there in the lab, which is, we don't need to work with people who essentially don't need the help, right? Today, for example, we built a financing page on Origin Clear, and we have a branded page with a leasing company so that if people want conventional leasing, they can get it. So we're not trying to step into the leasing company's world. What we want to do is create a whole new marketplace. And so now quickly, I wanted to show the Water Philanthropic Investors website. If you go to philanthropiinvestors.com, you'll see what goes on here, and it covers various industries. And sure enough, it will show us what's going on in real estate already with Equity and Help, but it will also show us what's going on in other spaces like water. And sure enough, you will see that they have decided to honor us with a position here where we are actually listed. We are collaborating with Ivan on a book, and also what's very cool is a game. And so the book and game are available for pre-order on philanthropiinvestors.com. We're going to go ahead and create this book together. Ivan knows very well how to write a book, and we know a lot about the water industry. So working together, we'll be able to do this. How soon do we plan to get this out the door, Ivan?
I am planning to get the book, the Water Philanthropy Investor book. We should have it out the door before Christmas. That's my target.
Fantastic. So by the holiday, that's good because it'll give me time to actually work on it in my crazy week, because I definitely want to help you. So that's fantastic. Well,
yes, and that's what the book is all about, Rix, is that you can grow your capital while saving planetary water and people's lives. You see, like instead of throwing away money in betting, in different areas of the world, there is right now $450 billion going to the gambling industry every year. $450 billion. And from there, 130 billions are in the US. So 25%, almost 25% of gambling that money is going, why we don't direct 450 billions and we come up to another level in the society as humanity awareness of health, and we direct it towards taking responsibility for the planet and fixing the problems that the planet has while you get a return and while you are in control of your investment. You see what I mean?
Completely.
And we're not making a moral statement about gambling. No. We're making a rational statement. It's a rational view.
It's a lot of money and you could spend it better.
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah. Whenever I gamble, and I was once in Vegas for 6 months on a work assignment, and I gambled exactly 25 cents. If I ever gamble, I get this horrible feeling that my life is draining away. So I know exactly what you're talking about. So our life will not drain away, and I'm not making a pun either. But just to tell our audience, what is the relationship? We've gone ahead and licensed the Water Philanthroinvestor brand. And we've also agreed, the philanthroinvestors.com has agreed to help us. They have people who've been in securities law for decades. And we really want to make sure that this works from a regulatory point of view. And they also plan to help us. And we've made them advisors to the company. So thank you for coming on board, guys. It's really fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and pull up in a very important slide, which is not the one about Kevin Harrington. By the way, Ivan, you know Kevin Harrington.
Of course, he's my friend.
He's on your advisory board.
He's my friend, and we are in our talks for him to be one of my advisors. Firmly right now we meet once each 3 months, and I consult with him. But he actually wrote a very good recommendation in my book. And it's also in my website, in Philanthro Investors. When you go to the founder page, you will see Kevin's recommendation when his relation with me,
Well, not only is Kevin a brilliant guy, but he's got a nice little pocket handkerchief there. Very nice. Man's got style.
Yes.
It's very important. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go to the next slide. How you can participate. So Philanthro Investors, Equity and Help, these are all private companies. But Origin Clear is a public company. And even though you currently cannot yourself invest in water projects, we're doing everything inside the lab, because this is why Philanthro Investors is involved, so they can help us with regulatory aspects as part of this partnership. You can participate by investing in Origin Clear. Not only is this going to be a yield-bearing asset, you will get excellent double-digit yields, but in addition, you will help build this quote-unquote Airbnb for water. So here's the deal. It's a corporate bond, and we've made 30 months of dividends payments, so we're very, very good with that. 12% dividends. You get to redeem your principals. You get what you invested back in stock whenever you want to at 200%. So you could, a year out, 2 years out, whatever. And when you do it, it's priced at the time. So you don't have to worry about the price in the meantime. And you also get a free stock grant of 25% of your investment, which also can be redeemed at the price of the conversion at that time. So it's a very generous offering. Why is it so generous? Because I have to tell you that we can be generous to an amazing degree with our friends because they won't destroy us. But we can get a quote unquote great deal from Wall Street and they will destroy us. We've learned this in 13 years of being in this company. In fact, June 7th, 2007 was our launch. So a little bit more than a month ago, we had our anniversary. Please talk to the amazing Ken Berenger. He's our VP of Business Development, but he's also with me, the co-author of this whole investor water concept. He's brilliant. He understands business. In fact, there's an interview of him that's appearing on Florida radio shows all weekend long. So he's extremely passionate. Simply make an appointment with him. Just click on oc.gold/Ken. Email invest@originclear.com. If you dial Devin Angus at extension 116, you will get not only Devin, but potentially access to me. There's also a link to investing, but really what you should do is have a conversation with Ken, because he will explain how important this is. Gentlemen, I wanted to thank you for coming on board. It's the beginning of a wonderful thing. I'm so honored that you have chosen to partner with us. We think it's a marriage made in heaven. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. We're really happy also, and I think we will actually create great effect for the humanity together.
Thank you. From your lips to God's ears, as they say. Thank you all. Have a wonderful weekend. See you next Thursday. There'll be more. This is becoming more and more exciting. Be with us on this incredible journey. Thank you all, and good night.